South Africa versus Egypt. Which country is better? Hello Explorers, welcome to yet another interesting video brought to you by The Explorer. In this video, we will be comparing two countries that have left a mark in Africa as far as history and culture are concerned, Egypt and South Africa. Judging from the eyesight, we can see a lot of differences between these two African giants, especially in geographical location, religion, and lifestyle. But diving in deep into these two countries, we will be able to further clarify their similarities and differences, hence conclude on which is better based on our findings. Our comparisons will be based on geography, economy, health, education, and culture of both countries in order to crown our winner. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and turn notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. Geography. Egypt has a total surface area of 1,001,450 km square, but due to the extreme aridity of Egypt's climate, population centers are concentrated along the narrow Nile Valley and Delta, meaning that about 99% of the population uses just 5.5% of the total land area. This makes the country tight and overpopulated along the Nile and the Delta, as the majority of Egypt's landscape is desert with an unusually hot, sunny and dry climate. Egypt does not have much that catches the eye when it comes to wildlife and vegetation, as most of the country is covered by desert and climatic conditions that don't favor some certain type of living species. South Africa, on the other hand, is the southernmost country in Africa, with a total surface area of 1,221,037 km square. And unlike Egypt, her population is distributed throughout her surface area. Only she is slightly more populated in her major cities. South Africa has a varied topography and oceanic influence, which results in a great variety of climatic zones with favorable climatic conditions. South Africa is also home to varied species of mammals, including lions, African leopards, South African cheetahs, southern white rhinos, blue wild beasts, kudos, impalas, hyenas, hippopotamuses, and South African giraffes. Comparing the geography of Egypt to that of South Africa clearly wins this round because of her varied climatic zones, even population density, varied wildlife, and diversity of plants. Hopefully, Egypt holds up in other sectors. Culture. South Africa has a lot of diversities when it comes to culture and lifestyle, cutting through music, movies, art, meals, and traditional culture. The South African black majority still has a substantial number of rural inhabitants who lead largely impoverished lives, and it is among these people that cultural traditions survive most strongly. As blacks have become increasingly urbanized and westernized, aspects of traditional culture have declined, and members of the middle class have lifestyles similar in many respects to that of people found in Western Europe, North America, and Australasia. South Africa has about 10 official languages, but the most commonly used is the English language, and also has a mixed race diversity predominated by blacks and whites. South African cuisines are highly diverse with food from many different cultures and backgrounds enjoyed by all. South Africa has also developed a major wine producer, with some of the best vineyards lying in valleys around Stellenbosch, Franschhoek, Paarl, and Berrydale. Generally, South Africa is known for her beautiful and enjoyable traditional dances and music, magnificent and breathtaking ancient arts such as cave drawings, spears, shields, and paintings that date back to ancient Zulu clan. Egypt, on the other hand, is recognized as a cultural trendsetter when it comes to the Arabic-speaking world. Reasons being that the Egyptians were one of the first major civilizations in the world, so they set the trend for other Arabic civilizations. At least 60 museums may be found in Egypt, mainly covering a wide area of ages of conflicts. Egyptian cuisine is notably conducive to vegetarian diets, as it relies heavily on legume and vegetable dishes. Meat has been very expensive for most Egyptians throughout history, so a great number of vegetarian dishes have been developed. Egypt is culturally very rich, while South Africa is culturally diverse. If you're looking for cultural diversity, varying meals, and entertainment, then South Africa is your pick. But if you want to visit African historical museums and study the different trends and seasons of ancient civilization, then Egypt will blow your mind with amazing artistry and symbolical pyramids of ancient civilization. But then, for holding up strong cultural values as long as it has, Egypt takes this point. Education. Egypt has been a cradle of civilization, implying that education has been a major influencer in education in Africa. Egypt is currently opening new research institutes for the aim of modernizing research in the nation, the most recent example of which is Zewel City of Science and Technology. Egypt ranked 99th position on global education system and 9th best in Africa with 52.8 points. With the imposition of compulsory education that lasts 12 years, the literacy rate is at 71% as of 2020. South Africa, with a literacy rate of 87%, has one of the strongest educational systems in Africa in terms of educational infrastructure and system. The educational system of South Africa includes 23 public universities in South, 11 traditional universities, 6 universities of technology, and 6 comprehensive universities. With some of the strongest universities in the world, which compete not only in Africa, but also the world, South Africa wins this round. Economy. South Africa's $329 billion mixed economy is the second largest in Africa after Nigeria, with a relatively high GDP per capita above $7,000 as of 2021. Despite this, South Africa is still burdened by a relatively high rate of poverty at 55.5% and unemployment at 32.6%, and is also ranked in the top 10 countries in the world for income inequality. In 2019, 71% of net wealth was held by 10% richest of the population, whereas 60% of the poorest held only 7% of the net wealth. Aside from that, South Africa is a popular tourist destination and gotten about $106 million in revenue from tourism. Serving this economy are many methods of transport, like roads, railways, airports, water and pipelines for petroleum oil. Also, South Africa has many major ports, including Cape Town, Durban and Port Elizabeth, which allows ships and other boats to pass through, some carrying passengers and some carrying petroleum tankers. On the other hand, the economy of Egypt depends mainly on agriculture, media, petroleum imports, natural gas and tourism, and has a GDP of $394 billion, with GDP per capita of about $3,800 as of 2021. Although one of the main obstacles still facing the Egyptian economy is the limited trickle-down of wealth to the average population, higher prices of basic goods, corruption, lower standards of living, and overpopulation. Economic conditions have started to improve considerably after a period of stagnation due to the adoption of more liberal economic policies by the government, as well as increased revenues from tourism and a booming stock market. In its annual report, the International Monetary Fund has rated Egypt as one of the top countries in the world undertaking economic reforms. Based on economic growth and infrastructural development, Egypt seems to be decrowning South Africa in terms of size of the economy, but due to a larger GDP per capita and a more progressive economy, South Africa takes another point. Politics. Egypt is a multi-party democracy, one party. The National Democratic Party dominated the political system of Egypt until 2011's Egyptian Revolution. However, Egypt has over 100 political parties who have constantly stood against the ruling power on allegations of corruption and more. The Egyptian Organization for Human Rights is one of the longest-standing bodies for the defense of human rights in Egypt. In 2003, the government established the National Council for Human Rights, but shortly after its foundation, the council came under heavy criticism by local activists who contend it was a propaganda tool for the government to excuse its own violations and to give legitimacy to repressive laws such as the emergency law. The Pew Forum on Religion and Public Life ranks Egypt as the 5th worst country in the world for religious freedom. The United States Commission on International Religious Freedom, a bipartisan independent agency of the US government, has placed Egypt on its watch list of countries that require close monitoring due to the nature and extent of violations of religious freedom engaged in or tolerated by the government. According to surveys, 84% of Egyptians polled supported the death penalty for those who leave Islam. 77% supported whippings and cutting off of hands for theft and robbery, and 82% support stoning a person who commits adultery. According to human rights groups, there are some 60,000 political prisoners in Egypt, and in 2017, Cairo was voted the most dangerous megacity for women, as sexual harassment was described as occurring on a daily basis. South Africa is a parliamentary republic. Although unlike most such republics, the president is both head of state and head of government, and depends for his tenure on the confidence of parliament. After each parliamentary election, the National Assembly elects one of its members as president. Hence, the president serves a term of office the same as that of the assembly, normally 5 years, with a maximum of 2 terms. Since 2004, South Africa has had many thousands of popular protests, some violent, making it, according to one academic, the most protest-rich country in the world. There have been a number of incidents of political repression, as well as threats of future repression in violation of the Constitution, leading some analysts and civil society organizations to conclude that there is or could be a new climate of political repression or a decline in political tolerance. In November 2006, South Africa became the first and only African country to legalize same-sex marriage. For this round, Egypt might be a democracy, but South Africa is also plagued by riots. For being more liberal and less corrupt, South Africa grabs this final point. Conclusion. For this fierce battle of the nations, Egypt takes a point on culture, but it is not strong enough to win South Africa, with 3 points for geography, economy, and politics. But then, like we always say, the decision on which is better depends on the primary reason for the trip and individual preferences. Given the vast differences in both nations in terms of culture, climate, location, religion, and opportunities, both of these countries will be an absolute delight to visit. So pack your bags and we shall see you there. There you have it, explorers. That was our comparison between South Africa versus Egypt and which is better. Thanks for watching this video, and if you did enjoy this video, do well to give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe and share with your friends.